comes in. If we had a real energy policy that moved us away from foreign oil the way I think we should, I believe we would see lots of new jobs created. Right now, we are actually importing more foreign oil today than we did before 9/11. Can you believe that? I mean, we need for our security not to be dependent upon these unstable areas of the world and these regimes. So for our security, we've got to move toward energy independence. How are we going to do that? Well, we're going to do it the same way we did it in previous generations in our country. Whenever we faced a challenge, we stepped up and met it. You know, 50 years ago last week, Sputnik was sent up into the space by the Russians. I'm old enough to remember that. And a lot of people said, well, what are we going to do? Well, we didn't sit around and wring our hands and point fingers at each other. President Eisenhower said, let's get together and figure out what we're going to do. And we did. He actually listened to his science advisors, and they put a plan in place. And the result was that we went into space. President Kennedy said we'd send a man to the moon. We did. We started building all kinds of capacity out of the science that was being done. The internet came out of research about the space program and about defense problems. So we know how to do this. We're just not acting like Americans right now. So here's what I want to do. I want to have a strategic energy fund, and here's how I would pay for it. Take the tax subsidies away from the oil companies and put them to work. Lots of places in the country are doing that, and a lot of countries around the world are too. I think that our farmers could be among the biggest energy producers that we have. And I'm seeing that happen. You know, I spent a lot of time in Iowa these days. And Iowa's putting up ethanol plants and biodiesel plants all over rural Iowa. And those little plants are putting people to work. Well, we can do that in South Carolina. And we sure can use the wind, and we sure can use solar. Germany is ahead of us because they made a decision that they were going to have 25% of their energy, electricity, produced from solar power by 2030. So they've already created 285,000 new jobs. And these are jobs that don't get easily outsourced. Because if you have a solar panel on your roof, somebody's got to climb up there and put it on. And I believe we could put Americans to work. And at the same time, we would begin to combat global warming. Now, this is not some abstract problem. And it's not something that's happening far away. Look, I am concerned about what's happening in the Arctic. And you see these poor polar bears that have nowhere to go, and that's, you know, heartbreaking. And we've got to act because of that. But if you live along the coast, as a lot of people in South Carolina do, and a lot of people in New York do, your homeowners' insurance policies are going up right now. In New York, I have people losing their homeowners insurance because the insurance companies have done long-term weather projections. And they've concluded we're going to have a lot more intense and frequent storms, so they're raising the costs or they're pulling out of the market. So this is a real-world challenge that we're confronting right here in America, and we've got to get serious about addressing it. So I think we could have a triple win. Enhance our security, deal with global warming, and put millions of Americans to work. And that's what I would do.